Hypothetical or simulated performance results have certain limitations. Unlike an actual performance record, simulated results do not represent actual trading. Also, since the trades have not been executed, the results may have under or overcompensated for the impact of any of certain market factors, such as lack of liquidity. Simulated trading programs in general are also subject to the fact that they're designed with the benefit of hindsight. No representation is being made that any account will or is likely to achieve profit or losses similar to those shown. As usual, a mouthpiece. You know, when you come into trading each day, where I think we really need to get ourselves is, we should just be enthusiastically ready to do our trading. And we should not approach it with fear or trepidation. Uncertainty is going to be there, but we should be looking for opportunities to do what we know how to do, as opposed to, oh man, I don't know if I can put this trade on here or not. Be bold, put it on, deal with it. And I'm sure all of you have gone through this situation where we're having trouble pulling the trigger, and part of your dream or your fantasy was, if I could just get somebody else to pull the trigger for me, then I could manage the trade. Because you do have those management skills. You just don't quite want to acknowledge that to the extent you need to pull the trigger. So that's another thing we're going to work on. Looking at, just showing you briefly right here, Trump came out and said he was considering another $100 billion in tariffs. Considering is the operative word. Market broke 60 points. We're off about 30 points right now. So tariff comments. Kudlow will probably be the most bullish guy. Others probably a little more bearish. So news spikes based on tariffs are going to be a fact of life today, and probably will take precedence over the actual 8:30 Eastern news that we're going to get this morning. That's probably going to pass pretty quickly. Then we have Powell that comes on at 13:30 this afternoon for his first major speech. Not testimony, speech, so everybody will be watching that. So we've got non-farm payroll. We've got news spikes. And we have Powell. So we should have plenty to work with today, is my point. Okay, the ADP number was 241. The consensus estimate for today's non-farm payroll is 175. That could come in higher. 4% unemployment. Private employment 175. Manufacturing jobs 20K. Earnings up 0.3. Work week 34.5. And I think the participation rate is 62.8, down from 63 last month. So then we'll have Baker Hughes rig count. Probably ought to put the direction of the Emini in there, in between the Baker Hughes rig count. And then we have Powell at 1:30 this afternoon. So we've got a full slate today. We're going to have fun. The first news focus will be non-farm payrolls and unemployment. We will take a look at hours to confirm these numbers up here. They will take a look at earnings, but these two will not move the markets. So first impact on the markets, non-farm payrolls, news spikes associated with tariffs would be number 2, and the third will be Powell. Okay, we do go through this exercise of where would we be a seller or buyer without news, and you can see right here that we've got resistance at 24 to 28, so 23, 27, sell 1. 3103, sell 2. This is without news, folks. We do have news. 13 to 17, buy 1. 5 to 9, buy 2. But news can mean volatility. We need volatility as day traders to prosper. When you have 80-point days in the E-mini, everybody can make money on that deal. When you have 10-point days in the E-mini, very, very difficult to make money unless you're a bond or a note trader willing to fade the edges. Okay, our news day trade. Get the news, say it's down in this case. You'll have the mode mean, that's the first place to sell. You'll have the value area high, second place to sell. Then you'll have where the news hits the market, third place to sell. If it does not extend the range, you exit the trade. It requires a nimbleness. If you don't like that, wait 4 or 5 bars and come in and trade development. Those are your choices. Or if you want the full potential of the news, you have to position before the news actually hits the tape, and that carries considerable risk. Okay, 4 to 8, number 1. Selling 11s to 15s. 19 to 23. I still think the direction of the treasuries is lower. We'll make the buck to 28, number 1. 21.25, buy 1. Basically 430 seconds below yesterday. 9 to 13, buy 2. I'm reading a book right now where most of the violence is done with knives, and I had a dream last night that I was being robbed of my smartphone, and the guy didn't have a knife. He had a box cutter, and so we were confronting each other, and he sliced me, and then I responded as I've been trained to, and as I was subduing him, I woke up. So I don't know if I prevailed or not. That's a hell of a way to wake up this morning. Tells me maybe I shouldn't be reading books where they're getting after each other with knives. Okay, gold. We like the short side of gold. We thought it's headed lower. We've been there. Right now we're at 26, so 28. It's going to react to the news just like the bond will. So you got a news day trading situation here. 33.35 for sell 2. 20 to 22, buy 1. Put a question mark at 24, 25. And then 15 to 17, buy 2. So anyway, the book made a hell of an impression on me, subconsciously. Why is gold headed lower? Fed's raising interest rates, or according to their guidance. Euro will react to the news. Number comes in higher than 175, the euro should sell. Comes in lower than 175, the euro should rally. Again, these trade recommendations are all without news. So 15 to 25, sell 1. 50, sell 2. We'll come back and we'll adjust after the news hits the market. 75, buy 1. 50, buy 2. Crude oil went with the indexes last night. Sonny had pointed out, I believe last summer, that the two can trade together, and they are right now. This was the spike down in the Emini. Didn't break, so we definitely have a B right here. It's like to be a little lower, so we'll make 62.50, 62.75 by 1. 62 even, 62 and a quarter by 2. On the sell side, 63 and a quarter, 63.50, sell 1. 63.75, 64, sell 2. This market will be the least impacted by this morning's news. Down to the E-mini. Boy, the E-mini has been great for us since January the 29th. All last fall, we were put in a position of having to say we wanted to be long or short, buy or sell the opening, and disappear for 2 to 6 or 7 hours. And that's tough to do if you're a day trader. Very difficult to keep your hand off the mouse. So, 64 to 20. 44 points, half of that would be 22, so 22 from 20 takes us up to 42 right there. You can see we got a little over halfway. And this market's going to be subject to news spikes after the non-farm payroll. And Trump, if they come from Trump and Trump's administration, they could go either way. If Kudlow's speaking, I imagine it would be conciliatory and say, hey, wait, the stuff's on the table. It's not chiseled in stone yet. If it comes from Trump, hell yes, I'm considering it, and we'll see what happens. So, can't trade without stops, and the market that'll react the fastest to this will be indexes. And we have Tesla. Everybody thinks it's going bankrupt. We have Facebook. Poor old, was it Zuckerman? Let the Republicans have some of his data, and he is persona non grata right now out there. Google and Apple are missing the turmoil right now. Amazon gets regular comments from Trump. That's such a popular vehicle that that one could backfire on Trump. Although you have to admit Amazon is probably having as big effect on the retail world as Walmart did when it was growing as fast as it did back in the 80s, 90s, up to 2010. Actually 2008. Then they kind of stumbled because their client base was hurt the most by the recession that started in 2008. So Google and Apple still get favorable press. Amazon subject. Facebook is not getting favorable press from the left of all places. And Tesla needs another government bailout, I believe, to survive. So that's where we stand right now. Without news, we'd be selling 44s to 49s, 54s to 59s. Without news, we'd be buying 21 to 26 and 11 to 16. Non-farm payroll 175. Unemployment 4%. They will look at manufacturing jobs 20K. Earnings up 0.3. They will take a look at that. It won't impact the trading. It'll be lost in these two numbers. Work week 34.5. Baker Hughes. No one will pay any attention to it. Comments. before Baker Hughes, and then Powell. Okay, it's going to take a bit to get everything up and done out there. I'm going to get busy on that. I'll be back with you as soon as possible. We'll look at a Newsday trade and try to get one off in the Emini and the bond. As the news hits, we've been able to do it in the Emini easier than in the bond, but we'll see what happens today. That's all you can do. And it requires a nimbleness and a skill that a novice or beginning trader does not have. So for those folks, we recommend that you wait 3, 4, 5, 6 bars and trade development. Back with you as soon as possible, certainly on the news. 23 minutes from now.